Round 2.
Ah.
All right.
Welcome back to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson, my co-host, Aurelio Martinez. Aurelio, man, this fight we've been waiting for a while.
I'm Italian.
The showdown between arguably the two best super lightweights in the world. Omaha, Nebraska's Terence Crawford taking on Viktor Postol. Postol is pretty much unfamiliar to American boxing fans, just because he hasn't had that much of exposure here. But I can tell you, he's a real threat. He's a serious threat. I expect Terence Crawford to handle him, but once again, it's not going to be easy. I don't expect. Actually expect this fight to go the distance. I don't expect Terence Crawford to stop him. It'd be nice if he did, because that would truly show how dominant he is. But Postol is not an easy out.
But you know what? I'm going to be interested in this fight, and I'll be watching real closely. For a simple reason, you know, Terence Crawford, he trains here in Colorado.
For the high altitude.
Yeah, just down the street up in Colorado Springs.
Coach Charles Leverett.
And with Charles Leverett. And I'm going to be interested because this is a tough fight for Terence Crawford. You would think that he would think that. But from what I understand, you know, the quality of his sparring, in my opinion, wasn't top shelf. It wasn't top shelf. He was still sparring with a lot of local boxers. You know, it just kind of dumbfounded me that, you know, when you're getting ready for this fight and you're the top ranked fighter, why wouldn't you bring in, you know, some top 10 rated fighters to spar, just like you know, the Mayweathers and the Chavezes and everyone else used to do. You bring in the top quality sparring work to get you ready and prepared for this. So I'm just hoping that that's not an indication that he's taking this fight lightly.
Oh, I can guarantee you that's not the case. I was down in Colorado Springs and watched Terence and Bomac, his trainer and manager, down there work out. And trust me, they're putting in work. They're putting in work. But you know what? I don't think that the Crawford camp has ever felt the need to bring in top.
I don't think they have.
Like that. I don't think they've ever done that.
But they haven't fought someone like Postol, Viktor Postol. Okay, so I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. I know, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see Terence Crawford losing this fight.
Right.
Okay, I don't see him losing the fight. I'm just saying, okay, well, let's see what Terence Crawford has what it takes as far as skills. He has what it takes as far as the heart and the mindset to go in the ring. Without a doubt, it's tough to beat a Terence Crawford. Going back to where you get a fighter that's got all the confidence in the world and you top that up with legitimate skills and stuff. It's tough to beat a fighter like that. It just is. So I don't see him losing this fight at all. I'm just saying I don't know why he wouldn't step up the training and the competition in the sparring. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe it was days that, or maybe they just didn't announce it, and maybe just the word just didn't go out.
I would imagine that's it, because like I said, when I was there, I originally got up on the ring post and I was going to record a little bit of his training. There were two guys said, no, you know, we don't want anybody recording any of his sparring sessions. So, but they were lively. Okay. There were a couple of guys there, but like I said, I think that he's at the point where they know what they're doing. You got to remember, this is a group of guys who've been together for not weeks or months. They've been together for years.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing. But Bomac is another one that takes a lot of heat off of Terence by addressing questions such as Freddie Roach and some of his nonsense that he always does. But one thing I'd like to recommend for everyone, if you really want to know what's going on, how Terence Crawford got to where he is, HBO did an excellent documentary on Terence Crawford.
I viewed that segment.
And you can go find that on YouTube. You know, it's excellent. It really goes into his whole background, which I was already familiar with. But it's something else. It shows you, and like we said on Colorado Boxing News before, you know, my page and your page, InsideBoxing.com, we said that he came from nothing. Yeah. He really literally came from nothing, has made it here. His same core group has been there from the beginning. I just say they know what they're doing, man. I just say that Postol is not an easy out, but I expect Terence Crawford to get
Now let me ask you, keys to victory for Postol, well, in your opinion?
To be able to step it up and force Crawford to fight, Okay, because one thing we know about Crawford is that he's going to do what he does, but he's one of those guys that, once this other guy seems like he's trying to put pressure on him, like he almost takes it as an insult that this guy's going to take pressure on him, and so he's going to have to be able to withstand that. He can't sit back and let Terence just have his way with him, because then Crawford will stop him. Okay. So Postol has to be aggressive.
Aggressiveness. Okay. Keys to success for
Terence Crawford. Just do what you do, baby. That's what I say. Do what you do. There's nobody that's been able to handle him. That's it. You're.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not far from you. I think Terence has to just go in there with this game plan, which is he doesn't need to change anything. You don't change success. Okay. You don't change the success in the ring, and he's had nothing but success. So why would you change that? So it's going to be up to Postol to change it, to take Terence out of his game, and whether he can do that, whether and I agree with you, he's going to have to be very aggressive, and he's going to have some elusiveness, because if he just comes in with aggressiveness and thinks he's going to walk through punches, it's not going to happen. So
well, that's what he's saying.
I know that's what he's saying, but he'll surprise the entire world if he does that. But I think he has to have some elusiveness, and he has to have some movement, some body movement to be able to get in, to land punches that are going to be significant enough to change Terence Crawford and take him out of his game.
What is it with these guys that now when they're coming up in big bouts, they say, "I've watched this guy and he's not impressive." What is that all about, man? I don't know. For Postol to say that he's not impressed with Terence Crawford, it's like
I see. Really? As a matter of fact, I see. Then he said he's not as impressed. He's not even anywhere near of Lucas Matthesi, and I seen him think. But you know what it is I think the mistake that trainers and boxers make, especially when they review film, and me, I'll review film of the opponents that are fighting my fighters, but I don't necessarily have my fighters sit there and review the film, because it's so easy when you review the film, you look at things that he's not doing good, and you take him for granted that that's the way the fight's going to be.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that's not the way the fight's going to be. It's a whole different story when you get in that ring, because you're not a previous opponent to whoever you're fighting, okay?
Exactly.
So the fight, going back to styles make fights, okay? Your style is going to present a different fight. Whoever you're fighting, whether you're fighting a bum or whether you're fighting a top contender, that fight's going to be somewhat different from history. So as a trainer, I look at the thing and I look for mistakes, for habits, things that very seldom will not change in a fighter's demeanor. So Viktor Postol, I think they're watching the fight and they're saying, "Oh, look at this! I can do that! I can do this." Mistake in my part.
Postol on record is saying, Terence Crawford is smaller than me, which he is, and he says, I'm not worried about him at all. Okay, yeah. Like you said, I think once he gets in the ring, he's gonna see this boy's got some shit and that he hasn't seen before.
And I think he just needs to hype himself up. And if a fighter needs to hype himself up, that's not a good sign.
I don't know, because he said, I don't mind. I'm gonna give him this. He said, "I don't mind going over there and fighting in the United States. I'm not afraid to go over to the United States and fight him, Yeah. And I'm going to give him credit for that, man, because, we got, one of my, I'm one of the biggest fans ever of Kell Brook. Well, Kell Brook would not come over here and fight no Danny Garcia or nobody over in the United States.
He sure
so I'm going to give him that. But, y'all, that's going to be a great fight. HBO pay-per-view next Saturday night. Viktor Postol taking on Terence Crawford.
Now, real quick, we got a minute left. Talk about the other fight in there that's worth interesting of seeing. There's a couple of them. Oscar Valdez.
Oscar Valdez.
Okay, he's fighting Matias Ruda from Argentina.
What you said.
And he's
26-0.
Matias is 26-0. Okay, and Oscar Valdez is 19-0. So this is actually going to put a little what am I saying? It's going to be a little test. It's going to be a little test for Oscar. Okay, Oscar wants to be up there in the prime. Everyone's high on Oscar. They think he's got the skill. They think
he does.
So this is going to be a little test. Okay, now
we'll see.
I think the Argentinian probably is in over his head, but it's going to be nice to see how Oscar handles this guy.
Okay, 10 seconds left, and my boy, Steven Nelson, 2-0, getting ready to take on a guy, Tim Meeks, who's 5-2-1. Hopefully, and I'm not sure if it's happened yet, but pretty soon, Top Rank is going to sign Steven Nelson.
I think, I like...
highly decorated amateur.
I like Steven Nelson. What do they call him? Stone Cold?
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. I like him. I think he's a promising athlete. Mm-hmm. And what I do like is they're bringing him along. He's 2-0, but they're bringing him along similar to the way I bring my promising fighters. And I'm not just saying that because there's a way. You get boxers that are out there and they get to be a 9-0, 10-0, 11-0. And you look at their resume, and they really haven't fought anyone. They haven't been tested. They haven't stepped up to gain that experience. Okay, so 10-0, but they experience level is 0. Steve Nelson, he's sure they're giving him the advantage, mm-hmm. but they're also giving him what I refer to as fights that are going to give you experience in the ring, mm-hmm. a beneficial experience. Okay, so. Keep an eye on Steven Nelson because he's actually going to do something in this game.
Okay, we're going to end this segment, and when we come back in our last segment, we're going to have to touch briefly on another fight card that's coming up that we talked about. Mikey Garcia making his comeback, and then Leo Santa Cruz.
Okay, we'll talk about that. That's 2 weeks away.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But when we come back, number 3, our number 1, third segment, as always, is the highly anticipated. Okay, often imitated but never duplicated. Inside boxing. Come on, man. We're going to have it when we come right back.
We got some good ones.
All right.
Till then,
keep them hands up, baby.